All right, welcome to Show Me the Money. Today we're going to be talking about how to gain capital for your business. There's two ways of doing it. Now, one is bootstrapping. That's not trying to find capital by any other external means besides just setting up your day-to-day earnings. It is definitely doable. I talked to you about my friend Alfredo earlier that did it for about 5 years. He was able to save that money and actually get a shop and get going. The whole point of these videos is to get information to be the most successful you can be, to have the best chance you can have. Bootstrapping it is very difficult. It takes a long time. People usually get burned out and their dream basically fizzles out and they never amount to anything doing it that way. It is definitely doable. There's stories of it, tons of success stories. It's doable. But like I said, the point of these videos is to be able to fast track you to be able to gain success early on. And the other way is gaining capital by other external means. We did a hybrid of gaining capital by external means and bootstrapping it. That really just fast forward us straight into what we wanted to do. We had that 6-month period of time. We gained all the stuff that we needed for our business. We were ready to go hit the ground running. Now, first thing that leads me to is my $50,000 mistake. We thought we needed around $60,000 and that would be enough. Well, we're a partnership. I have a partner, and to maintain the same paycheck we were having at the dealership was a little more difficult than we expected. We probably went about 4 pay periods without having a paycheck intermittently just to keep what we had, to keep the shop. It was very difficult, it was very stressful, and it all could have been easily avoided by gaining more capital in the beginning. I definitely recommend a minimum of $100,000 if you're having a partnership. Now that sounds like a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but in reality, once we go over this and you start getting money by other external means, you're gonna get it a lot faster than you think. Partially what we did is borrow from friends and family. There's some organizations that say don't do that. It can compromise your relationships with your friends and family, but because you do this for a living already, you have a higher success rate compared to say, hey, you know what, I've been working on cars my whole life. I'm gonna now go into real estate and I have no clue about it, but I'm gonna just dive into it. And I need $50,000 for my family. They're probably not gonna give it to you because you don't know real estate, you don't know anything about it. You're gonna have to spend another at least 5 years really getting a grasp on it. So this you already know, so you have a lot higher success rate doing this. As far as borrowing from friends and family, definitely do interest before shares. What I mean is, some people will want a piece of your business, so when you're successful, you'll pay out. That's fine, it's a cool idea. It pays off in the end sometimes, but it really complicates the hell out of things for you to be able to try to figure out how much you owe them and all that. Not only that, but they get a piece of your business. So what you want to do is interest. You apply for a loan. The average is about 6.7 depending on where you're at for a family loan of around like $20,000. Try to get them under if you can. The whole point is you're trying to hit the ground running with this thing. I got one for 2.5. Now that I'm doing a little bit better, and if I want to get another building, I ask for a loan. It's around 6.7%, meaning if I borrow $20,000, they get 6% of that over, say, like a 5-year period, 4-year period, 3-year period, whatever. That way, it makes it worth it for them. You got to make it worth it for them. You're just not borrowing money from your rich uncle just to borrow money. You have to make it easy for him, meaning have all your stuff ready to go. Don't just say, hey, can I borrow some money? I'd like to do it around, a 3 or 4 year loan if I can. Make it easy for it. Put it on paper. There's tons of programs out there that you can put how much money that you want, at what interest for how many months, and it shows you a payment schedule per month on the day that you put it in. These are free programs online, by the way, because they're hoping that you get a loan through them, so they have this calculator tool that you can use. And most of the stuff is printable, so you just print that out and say, hey, this is what I'm looking to get. What do you think? I'm ready to do it. Basically, uncle, I'll write you a check on this day for this much money for this many months. Make it simple. Plan it out. Once you get a loan, you're thinking, well, I'm gonna have to start making payments right away. Defer it for about 6 months. Say, hey, you know what? I'm trying to get the best chance for success I can. Can I defer this loan for 6 months? And again, you can put that into the schedule we talked about. You can put whatever date you want, but defer the loan for 6 months because you don't want to pay your loan back with the loan that you have. Show that you're serious as well. Meaning, don't just say, hey, uncle, I'm excited, I'm ready to do this, and don't show him your dream. This is your dream, this isn't his dream. You have the picture in your mind already. He doesn't have the picture in his mind. You don't need to paint the picture for him. Put it on paper. If he has money, then he either inherited it or he earned it, whatever. But he understands how money works. Put a simple business plan together. That sounds a little scary to a lot of people. It doesn't have to be one of those 50-page ones with all these crazy graphs and stuff like that. Simplify it. There's free software online that you can do a simple business plan. You basically just fill in the blanks and print the thing out. Another thing that shows you're interested in, this we'll go over in a little bit. Incorporating your business and say, hey uncle, guess what? Here's my incorporation papers. I already have the ball rolling. I've started incorporating. This is my business partner. His name is Jerry. He's been in the business with me this many years. We're ready to go on it. He's putting in 50% in the business just like I'm trying to get. He's buying in, I'm buying in. It's a partnership, 50-50 or whatever you decide you want to do. That shows you're serious. It's not just a crazy idea you have. You've already got the ball rolling. You've already started stuff. If your uncle can see that and say, hey, you know what? This guy's serious. I'd like to help him out. You know what? And show him the money that you've earned already. If you have saved some money, show him you have a location already. Say, hey, these 2 places, I already talked to the realtor. Where once we have all the funds, once I have my licensing, we're gonna sign it. So we're gonna visit this store tomorrow, this other one next week, and if it pans out, this is the place that we're gonna go. That really shows you're serious. You have a business plan. You're starting your incorporation or partnership. You have a business partner. You've already saved some money up. You have a location ready to go. This really is impressive. Like, wow, this kid is ready. So I'm going to give my money to someone that's ready for it, that deserves it, that's going to earn it and give it back to me with return. And there's no weird awkwardness in between. I have faith in him. That's exactly what we did, by the way. We borrowed a pretty good chunk from our family. All right, guys, one thing is you don't want to use what you have in your savings. If you have a budget for your day-to-day, your monthly to monthly, and you just have a little bit in your savings account, don't use that money for your business. You're going to need that money because if you happen to have a crazy rough month or whatever stuff happens, you're going to need that money for yourself. So don't blow all your money that you have and put it all in one basket. That's your money. Keep it separate for your own stuff. You don't want to put yourself in a bind. So 401k, there's some articles that say don't use your 401k. I used it. I was all in. It didn't matter. My business was going to be, this is going to be my retirement. As you see right here, this is my retirement right here. I did take a portion of my 401k. It depends on what state you're in and all that, but because I invested it into something, I didn't get crazy taxed or penalized on it. I do pay interest, but the interest goes back to myself along with a payment to pay it back. Crowdfunding is one. You can raise money by crowdfunding. There's a lot of platforms online that carry that. There's different ways they go about it. Sometimes it's not tax refundable for the person that's paying out, so they don't gain really a benefit from it. Also, there's some sites that will take a portion of your business. They own a portion of your business. Again, that can kind of complicate things when you talked about the shares. They make it pretty easy, but you're always going to have to manage something like that. But if you can't do this other stuff, that's an option for you, and you can try to go all in on something like that and just save money, bootstrap it while you're getting your clientele, saving that money that you're making, and on the other end, do the crowdfunding thing. You know, people do it all the time. Sell your stuff. I had a bunch of junk. I had a bunch of hobbies that I did, fishing, all this crazy stuff. It's not hobby time anymore. Sell all your stuff, raise capital so you can buy in 50% of your business. Personal loans. This is kind of easy to get if your credit's pretty decent. Don't tell them what you're using it for. Just say, hey, I need it for whatever. If you tell them to start a business, they're not going to give you that loan. Small business loans are very hard to get. We're running on 5 years in. We applied for a small business loan and we didn't get it. Our credit is really good. The reason why we didn't get it is because of the nature of the business. That's what they said. That's what the underwriters said. We almost had it though. We were asking for quite a bit, because we would like to get a bigger building and hire more people, things like that, and they said no way. So they won't even talk to you unless you have at least 2 years in on your business and you can show them all your financials, all your tax stuff, your P&L and your spreadsheets and all that stuff. So the small business loan could possibly be hard to get. Now, one thing I really encourage you not to do is get a line of credit. No lines of credit. There's lots of stuff out there, especially right now, where you can get lines of credit. We have a line of credit ready to go in cases of emergency, but the problem with those is you usually have to pay those back in the same year, in a year. So the interest on that, or the fees they call it fees. They say there's no interest usually. It's around 8 to 10% depending on where you're at. But if you ask for a $50,000 loan and you get it, you have to pay that back the same year. That's gonna be really hard to do. So lines of credits are usually for other types of businesses, like say someone that's in construction and they have to front all this material up front, but they know they're gonna get X amount of dollars when the job is done. That's when you get a line of credit, because you know it's guaranteed you're gonna have the money at the end to pay that back. It's not quite set up for our type of business. It's very hard to pay something like that back. Now, if you can extend it to 3 to 4 years, it's not really a line of credit anymore. It's more like a loan. And like I said earlier, small business loans are hard to get, so apply for a personal loan on that end. Now, once we all had all this figured out, what we did was we started a business account, and they will require a business license, by the way. Again, we're gonna have a video on licensing in a little bit. So we applied for 2 credit cards. 1 credit card was for overall capital. Capital, if we needed to buy something, a tool, whatever, try not to run the card up. It's hard to pay it back, but if you need it, it's there. It's just capital waiting for you. And that one was through the bank that we were banking through. We applied for another one. We applied for another credit card that we use for our parts and day-to-day stuff. So we run a weekly bill up on parts. We have 3 main parts providers, including the dealership, because so you have to pay for those parts. So say if you're doing a transmission and you get a transmission from the dealership and that thing is like $6 grand, well, shoot, if you don't have $6 grand in your bank that you can live without for a while, then that's what the credit card's for. But not only that, make sure you get a cash rewards. That's key. This is really cool because 1, you can either pay yourself a bonus at the end of the year. That's what we do. Or if you're having a rough year and say, hey, I want to pay the credit card down. We had a rough year, let's put it back on the credit cards. So guys, there's plenty of way to raise capital. There's all kinds of stuff out there. You don't have to do it all in one little spot. We kind of did a hybrid. We did some from family. I took out of my 401k. My partner, he had money already because he just sold a rental house, so that worked out for him. Not everyone has that. I didn't have that. Make some notes, go out there, start saving some money, start raising some capital. You guys can do this. I will see you on the next video.